Hello students. So today we are going to start a new lesson, chapter 1, the tiny teacher of your book, An Alien Hand. Now, what does the tiny teacher suggest? Let's see who is your tiny teacher of the life. Though so very small, the ant is unbelievably intelligent and hardworking. So here the story is about, or the lesson is about the ant who are actually very intelligent, who are very hardworking, who are very determined. Among the various kinds, the commonest ant is black or red. Ants live in comfortable homes called ant hills. Now, this is about the tiny teacher about the ant who's unbelievably intelligent and who's very hardworking. And most of us, like even in your day-to-day life, we see ants everywhere on the floor. So you see the color of the ant is black or red. And ants live in comfortable homes called ant hills, right? Now let's see. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it the fly? No, it isn't. It is the mosquito. No, not the mosquito. Then it must be the worm. No, none of these. It is the ant, the commonest, the smallest, but the wisest insect. Now the person is asking that have you seen an insect who is actually very intelligent and who's very smallest? Now, the person named mosquito, the person named the fly, the person named the worm, but none of these match the category, and it is the ants which match the category. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue, but people have kept ants as pets and have watched their daily behavior closely. So we know a number of facts about this tiny, hardworking and intelligent creature. An ant uses its feelers or antennas to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Now, what does ants have? Now, understand the ants, that ants, if you have watched the behavior of the ants very closely, you would notice that the ants are very intelligent and they are very hardworking. And if they want to talk to other ants, then they use their antennas or their feelers to communicate to other ants. If they want to communicate to other ants or they want to pass some messages to the other ant, then they use their antennas or feelers to talk to the other ant, to communicate to other ants. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the wall. Each ants greet all other coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. Now, what happened was, understand, this is a wall, right? If ants are coming from here, right? And if ants are coming from opposite direction from here, then all these ants are wishing this particular row by touching their feelers or their antennas by greeting them. So this is the way how an ants communicate or pass a messages to each other. There are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are the black or red ones. We have seen them since we were children but haven't paid enough attention to them. Where do they live? In their comfortable homes called nest or ant hills. Each has hundreds of little rooms and passages. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lays eggs. Other are nurseries for the young ones called grubs. Now, what happened now? There are so many kinds of ants, but the commonest ants we have watched is the red or the black ones. Now, what happened? We have seen them since we were children but haven't paid enough attention to them. Now, we know that ants roam here or wander here openly, but we haven't paid any attention to them. Now, let's see what actually are ants. Where do they live? In their comfortable homes called ant hills or nest. Each has hundreds of little rooms and passages. Now, in the ant hill, suppose this is an ant hill. Now, each room has little passages. They have a little room. I'm making it roughly, just an imagination we are doing it, that they have a little passages all around. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lays eggs. Now, the queen ant, suppose in between, the queen live and here they lay eggs. Other are nurseries for the young ones called grubs. Now, the other rooms are the nurseries where the ants are supposed to, the little ants, the baby ants live there. They do their daily chores. They learn things. They learn to walk. They learn to eat. They learn to communicate. All others are nursery and they are called grubs. So, grubs are the young ones of the ants. Workers have their reserved quarters. Now, in that particular ant hill, as I told you, this is an ant hill. The workers have their own quarters. Like even in our home, we have seen if we have servants, they have a separate servant quarter, right? So even in the ant hills or in the nest, they have a reserved quarters for the workers. They spend most of their time searching for food. Some rooms serve as a storehouses for this food. Now they live like a human being. Like even we have a storeroom at our home, that where we keep we store our things for the need in the future. Similarly, even in the ant hills, they have a storehouse for their food. Soldiers have separate barracks. No workers have ever tried to live in a soldier's house. No soldier has ever gone out searching for food. Now, even the soldiers live, right? Suppose even we have army people where they live separately, like how it happens in our country. Similarly, with ants also, soldiers have separate barracks. No worker has ever tried to live in a soldier house. No staff member or the particular worker who have this reserved quarters, they cannot live in the soldier's home. No worker, soldier, cleaner has ever harmed a grub. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely and never fight with other members of the group. Now what happened was, even those the soldiers and even the workers, they never come and harm the grub, the young ones of the ants. All they live in a peaceful life. Like they have a ant hill, they have a workers who have a separate quarters to live. Then they have a soldiers who protects the ant hill, and the soldiers work their own, workers work their own. Nobody interferes in each other's work, right? And never fight with other members of the group. Now there are other members of the group who also live in the ant hill. So one member does not fight with the other group member, right? So they have a very beautiful, very peaceful life. No fights, no violence. Next, see, the queen ant has a pair of wings which she casts off before she begins to lay eggs. Eggs hatch and become grubs. Grubs change into cocoons, and cocoon break to bring forth complete ants. The life of an ordinary ant in the ant hill is a book which many of us seldom open. Now, as I have already told you, the next paragraph is about the queen. The queen ant has a pair of wings which she cast off before she begins to lay eggs. Now what happened was, they have a pair of a wing which she always flew it up when she began to lay eggs. Second, eggs hatch, then grubs come out. Then grubs becomes cocoon, and cocoon breaks to bring forth complete ant. The life of an ordinary ant in the ant hill is a book which many of us seldom open. Now, there are so many people, even you people must be thinking that, what is the life of an ant? Ant is a very little insect which can die anytime. Anytime you can keep your foot on the egg, on the ant, and ant dies, right? So, we don't even bother to know that what these little creatures' life is all about. We don't even open their book. We don't even know that how an ant live the life, and how an ant struggle, and what is the attitude of an ant towards life, how the people or how the member of the ant live. We don't even know that, and we really don't even want to know, because we don't just bother the life of an ant. It is a very smallest creature on this earth, little smallest but very intelligent and hardworking. Next, the queen is the mother of the entire population of the colony. It lives for about 15 years. It has a pair of wings for an alien hand, but bites them after its wedding's flight. This flight takes place on a hot summer day, the queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant or drone high up in the air. On its return to earth, it gets rid of its wing and then does nothing but lays eggs. Now, how does a king or how does a queen lives? The queen is the mother of the whole population of the colony. Then the queen, the age of the queen lives is about 15 years. It has a pair of a wing, but bites them off for its wedding's flight. This flight takes place on a hot summer day when the queen leaves the nest. Generally, queen does not leave the nest, but when it leaves the nest, it go and meet the drone, the male ant, and then they do a mating. Then what happened on the return? The queen lays egg. Eggs hatch and grubs come out. Soldier guard them. Workers feed and clean them and also carry them about daily for airing, exercise and sunshine. Now, like how we, a human being, keep our babies, like we give them a sunshine, we give them for the exercise, we give them for everything. Similarly, even the workers feed the ant and then they carry out for the exercise, for the sunshine, for the airing. 2 or 3 weeks later, grubs become cocoon and lie without food or activity for 3 weeks more. Then the cocoon break and perfect ant appear. Now it's time for teaching and training. New ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners, etc. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to. Now what happened was, grubs then become to cocoon after 2 to 3 weeks. After that, then the activity changes. They get different training, right? Now it's time for teaching and training. New ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners, etc. Now, you have to understand, as you people become in a teenage group, you also have a pressure of your career, that what do you want to become? Some of you want to become a doctor, some of you want to become a teacher, some of you want to become an engineer, etc. Right? Similarly, these ants also learn their duties, whether they want to become a worker, soldier, builder, cleaner, etc. They can choose their own duty and they can get a training out of it. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world of work. An ant hill is a home not only for ants but also for some other creatures, beetles, lesser breeds of ants and the green fly. Why do ants want these alien creatures to live in their nest? For several reasons. Some give off smell pleasant to the ants' senses, others give sweet juices, and some are just pets or playthings like cats and dogs to human beings. Now what happened was, in the ant hills, not only ants live, but some other creatures also live, like beetles or the lesser breeds of ants and the green fly. Now, why do ants keep them? Why do ants permit them to live in the ant hills? It is because some of them give them the smell pleasant, some give them the sweet juices, or some are just pets, like how we play with cats and dogs, like how we human have a pet. Even the ants keep a pet so that they could get a good company out of it. The green fly is the ant's cow. The ants train to give it to honey dew like milk with a touch of their antenna. The milk is just as we milk the cow. Have humans learned as much as ants have? Perhaps they have, but they haven't put their learning to good use. They may still learn a few things from this tiny teacher: hard work, sense of duty, and discipline. Cleanliness, care for the young ones, and above all, a firm loyalty to the land where they live. Now, what happened is, what is actually this the tiny teacher is, the lesson is all about. The lesson is all about that we human beings should learn from these tiniest creature who's living on the earth. We don't even know that these ants are so talented, are so intelligent, are so hardworking. We don't even know that. But we should actually learn from them that they have a sense of duty. They are hygienic, they are hardworking, they are determined, they are disciplined, they have a peaceful life, they do not fight with each other. And most importantly, they are loyal to the land where they live. They are loyal towards the anthills. They are loyal towards the people. Nowadays, human beings are not loyal to each other, right? All are killing, all there around is war. Nobody belongs to no one, right? But these ants, these tiniest creature, they are peaceful. They don't want to fight. They are loyal to each other. They are united. So we human beings should learn from these tiniest creature of this earth that we should be loyal, we should be hardworking, and we should be disciplined towards our work. I hope you really like this lesson and you will really learn a lot from this lesson. Thank you so much.